What's going on, guys and girls? It's GhostRobo and Volatile Gabe here with an amazing Marvel Civil War review and breakdown. We're going to be breaking the thing into two, a spoiler-free section first and then a spoiler cast so that everybody and anybody can enjoy this video. Also, on your screen right now, you are seeing Marvel Clash of Champions, the best Marvel mobile game that there is. If you want to get it and join me on Team Iron Man or fight me as Team Cap, although by the end of this video, I think I might switch.
I know. There's no way that anybody is like still Team Iron Man after this.
We will have to see, but you can grab the game for yourself. Just click on the sponsored link in the description below. Every click gets you the game and helps me out, so I would greatly appreciate it. And I think it'll blast the game, and you can fight, like I said, either alongside me or come duke it out with me. So go grab that, and now on with the show. Gabriel.
Zachary.
I have a tortured history with Marvel movies, as you know.
Yeah. You only like the bad ones.
Yeah, that's what they say. But I love this movie.
I knew you would. Specifically, we'll get into the spoiler section, but I think I said Zach's gonna like this Spider-Man. In the back of my mind, I didn't want to hype him up too much, and I still won't.
Okay.
But I had a feeling that you would like him.
Yeah, and that was an important part of this movie to me.
Yes.
Knowing my love affair with Andrew Garfield and the amazing Spider-Man films.
All right, so let's start off with this, Zachary.
Go
ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, just to break it down a little bit here. I went tonight. You went opening night.
Yes.
You waited with the crowds.
Yes.
You were there with all the rah-rah and the costumes.
Boy,
were there any costumes?
There was a few costumes. Yes.
Okay. All right, I got you. No costumes at mine, obviously, but my whole family saw it, and surprisingly, everybody liked it. And what I thought was interesting just right off the bat is, like, if you had not seen the past movies, or at least one from every series, it would have been difficult to, like, follow and know what's what. Because, like, for example, Black Widow I don't even know if to her face she's ever referred to as Black Widow.
No.
And then someone mentions Black Widow, and I could see my mom being like, what is going on here?
They call her Natasha.
Yeah.
So.
But I'm just saying, like, if you didn't have, like, an experience with everybody,
I think maybe if you didn't see Ant-Man, you might be okay, maybe. Although,
yeah, that's true.
Although, he would stick out like a sore thumb, for multiple reasons. But I think maybe not seeing Ant-Man would be okay. You absolutely have to see a Winter Soldier. And we know you don't like Winter.
Yeah, otherwise Bucky makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, like, who is this guy and why does he matter this much to Cap? So,
right.
But other than Winter Soldier and Age of Ultron, obviously, I think those two are the ones that are, like, paramount to you understanding what's going on.
Yeah, I don't think it's spoiler to say. I was surprised by how many references there were back to Avengers 2.
Yeah.
Like, there was a lot, like, directly from that would have, kept you completely in the dark. But to this movie specifically, I thought it had excellent flow. I saw some people on my Twitter feed saying, like, hey, you're going to fall asleep. It's going to be slow.
Those people are
watch
weird.
out.
I don't understand
I didn't think it was slow at all. I thought it had the best flow, and it surprised me that it kept a very... For a lot of the movie, a more serious tone. Like, one thing I've said about Marvel is, like, man, I like the DC stuff, Batman and whatnot, where it has more of an adult tone. But this one flipped the script and gave us more of that side of the Marvel universe as opposed to, like, the corny jokes and the goofy one-liners.
We still get those, though, man.
You do, but not as bad.
There's a perfect GIF moment. And I'll tell you when we're talking about the spoilers. But what I like about this... in comparison to BVS, and I hate to compare them, even though I made a video. You should go check it out on my channel. I made a video just talking about what I think about both of them. I think that there's a clear better movie here, and
yeah, I would agree with you.
I've seen one person say that they prefer BVS, and they said, "Oh, because I like DC characters better," and that's fine. I prefer DC characters too, but at least in my brain I can separate them and say, okay, BVS was kind of a mess. This wasn't. This was cohesive, right?
Yeah, and I think it like. I didn't know how the movie would be structured, and that was the thing that I liked, sort of the surprise of, like, okay, how are they going to make this conflict really pan out on screen and, like, work? And they did it excellently. And I think for me, what validated the movie so much was that now they had foes that were equal with them, right? Because to me in the past, like, fighting Loki and fighting Ultron, like, the battles just never really gave me what I wanted. But here, I thought this was the most... if it could be logical, but the most logical battles and the ones that had the most, like, okay, this could go either way and we don't really know how it's going to pan out. Obviously, if you follow the comic storyline, you do. But for the uninitiated, there's more
although
suspense
this is
there.
like nothing like the comic storyline, really. But
I just mean in the sense that you knew, like, okay, well, I guess it's a spoiler, but
yeah,
like from a overall sense, you knew that, what was going to go down, basically.
I still think Marvel can't crack villains. They don't do villains well. They've done one villain well. That you mentioned him. It's Loki. He's the only villain that they've done well. And even here, like, this isn't a spoiler. Baron Zemo's in the movie. Like he's like the weakest part for me. They can't seem to nail it like the villains. They really can't. I don't understand it. Hopefully Thanos makes up for it. But other than that, they have issues with it in every single movie.
Yeah, and what really killed it for me, as much as it's a goofy complaint, is, okay, so I already have Spider-Man on my mind, of course.
Yeah.
And then Captain Zemo looks like Tobey Maguire's brother.
His name's not Captain Zemo, it's Baron.
Okay, whatever. I like to call him Captain because it makes me think of Captain Nemo. But he looks like Tobey Maguire, and I'm like, okay, he's in the movie to avenge his Spider-Man, past, and he's pissed off that he, was the worst Spider-Man, and that's why he's here.
Yeah. I honestly, I think we should jump into the spoiler stuff rather quickly here. I think,
we can. Let's just give like an overall thing. So for me, I would have given the movie like an 8.5 out of 10. I really liked it. It was my favorite Marvel movie of all the main, the recent Marvel movies.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it better than both Avengers. I liked it better than any of the individual stories. And again, for me, it was the fact that they did have the team up, and I felt like it was done in such a really just a smart way, as opposed to feeling like some goofy team up movie. Like it made a lot of sense.
BVS.
Yeah. There was less of like, oh my god, here's the heroes to save the day. Like, they all had their roles, they all played their parts. I mean, there sure was still like the team up moments where like, oh, out of the shadows comes this person to enter the battle. But for the most part, like, they did both sides pretty fair. And even though on paper it looks like, man, Iron Man's team is so much cooler, Captain America's team held their own the whole way through. And by the end, I felt like I understood both sides. And even though that villain thing was a little bit weak, it wasn't the main attraction at all. And so to me, it didn't detract enough to really make it like a low point. Like, it wasn't like, oh crap, this is who they all are going to fight at the end. It was more of a side, wouldn't you say, like more of a side story?
Yeah.
In a sense. Like, yeah, it was the main story, but the screen time for that guy, and even some of the things that he did and how it was played out, was almost more like a secondary or tertiary character. So the pacing, the plot, 2.5 hours and not a whole lot of downtime. It didn't feel too long to me. Didn't feel too short. Kind of hit a sweet spot. The cameos are great. The new additions to the ensemble are great. And in general, I loved it.
I would echo a lot of what you said. I think the new players, Black Panther and Spidey, they're so good. They are so good. They're so true to the comics. And I hate saying this because we saw him for not very long, but this is the best Spider-Man has ever been on screen to me. Like, I really like Spider-Man 2, like with the Tobey one with Doc Ock. I like that movie a lot. To me, that's as close as it had gotten to the comics before, but this trumps it. And I know you yourself had reservations about young Tom Holland being so damn young, but he fits in really well. He really does. He brings like a nice contrast to the fact that everybody else is like kind of older and like jaded and like they have a lot of issues, right? And he just brings back the fun. And Aunt May is very cool in this movie too. I like her. She's like barely in it, but so yeah, let's move on to the spoilers.
And we can get more into Spider-Man, in the spoiler thing, and talk specifically about why you do.
You said it's your favorite Marvel movie. It's not mine. I still prefer Winter Soldier over it.
Gabriel, you're killing me. I don't know how you can possibly say that in good faith after seeing this.
Remember, I've seen Winter Soldier about like 5 times. I've seen this once.
Okay.
So
Yeah, but what?
Maybe after a couple more times, it'll.
What do you think this fails that Winter Soldier does?
Well, I think that Winter Soldier has social commentary isn't the word, right? But they have that element of, okay, this government is like, watching over us, right? So
and this doesn't have social commentary? Isn't that like the entire movie?
Not that I'm like super into social commentary either way. It's just I've seen Winter Soldier about 5 times. And there's like little nuances that I picked up, when watching it on multiple outings. This is the first time I see this thing, so I can't just like, I'm not the type of person instantly claim something as a classic. Like that's not me. I got to give things time to breathe. I liked it a lot. Gotcha. I'd probably give it like a strong 8.5, 9 out of 10 too, if we had to rate it, which I don't like doing. But Let's go ahead and get into the spoilers now, Zachary.
Sure. So now everything's fair game. If you just wanted a quick take, it's great. Go see it, all that. And now everything from the movie is going to be up for grabs. So I think we start off by going, like you said, over Spider-Man and Black Panther as the newcomers, how they fared, how we feel about them. I was worried because I really like Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, and I still think I prefer him. For some reason, this guy's accent just reminds me of Justin Bieber. I felt like I was watching.
He's doing a Brooklyn accent. Like, that's not how he actually talks. Like, he's trying to do the Brooklyn accent, and
yeah, but it just reminded me of Justin Bieber. All I could think about was Justin Bieber as Spider-Man.
I mean, not the Brooklyn. Sorry, the Queens accent. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, you're gonna have some Burrow beat downs going on in the comments. Anyhow, I thought like he was very, for lack of a better term, like the flash of the combat was really well done. Like inside of that airport terminal, that was probably my favorite scene in the movie. And I thought it just played really well. He played really well on screen. I kind of liked his like ignorance / childish innocence that they had going on. I did feel it was a little weird that like Tony Stark just showed up out of nowhere. I'm not sure if that's a comic thing or not.
Well, the reason, the way that the writers explained it is Tony's kind of keeping tabs on everyone. Like, he knows about Daredevil. He knows all these things that are going on in the world, right? Remember, this is the guy that made Ultron because he wants to make sure that the world is safe. So he keeps track of everything. And he knew this kid that's just, really smart. Plus the fact that the mother in the elevator after his speech to like that press conference thing, that, she lost a young son because of him, right?
Right.
And it sort of mirrors that. He's like, okay, I want to do right.
Now I'm going to put another young son in the fray.
Well, no, he wants to do right by a young person. I like, hey.
Oh, okay. So he's going to take him under his wing, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way I saw it, at least. Like, and like it's sort of convenient that Iron Man just sort of knew about Spider-Man. Because in the movie, Spider-Man's been Spider-Man for about 6 months. So he's been doing his thing for a little bit. So
now I was impressed, and maybe you can, as more of the Marvel expert here.
I wouldn't say I'm that, but okay.
Well, you have more knowledge than I do.
Sure.
How is young Spider-Man, as you just said, who has 6 months under his belt, how is he able to keep up for the most part with some of these guys? Is it just because they haven't seen his power set before, or how is he able to hold his own as like a 13, 14-year-old kid?
All right. So a couple of things, right? Spider-Man, he's actually like one of the strongest people on there. Just like,
really,
yeah.
Okay.
He's a strong guy. He has superhuman strength because of the bite. So in the airport scene, he's lifting, what was it, a truck or a car? Like he's holding it up. So Cap, he has the super serum. So yeah, he's super strong. We see his muscles in that one scene pulling in the helicopter. Right. That was
I'm like, what is this like man candy moment where he's just like flexing?
Yeah.
So all right.
Yeah. Same with Winter Soldier. He is like a super soldier of some kind, plus a metal arm. But a lot of the other people aren't really like they don't have super strength.
Sure.
Like Hawkeye, Natasha, who else is out there? Ant-Man. Like these guys aren't like super strong.
Right.
So
Scarlet Witch isn't like a bodybuilder.
Yeah. So he's able to hold his own because first he has that super strength, and B, they've never seen him before, and they hear him. Sure. They hear him. This sounds like a child. So I feel like they kind of maybe underestimate.
Take it easy.
Yeah. And plus he's just like making jokes and even God, I forget the actual character's name, but Falcon. He makes a joke. He's like,
Sam.
Yes, Sam. He tells him like, "Have you ever like been in a fight? Because you usually don't talk this much during fights, or something along those lengths." So they hear this kid just talking, and I think they're sort of like
caught off guard.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah, and for me, like he gained so much credibility once he was actually in the suit. I was a little bit more cautious of the guy, like when he was just like the kid like that. I wasn't the hugest fan of, but once he was in the suit, I was convinced, like, okay, I don't have to worry, this is going to be a cool Spider-Man. And is it my favorite? We'll need a full movie, but I was happy that he wasn't just a cameo. He didn't just appear, oh hey, do this one thing and then go back home. Like he was there for the full battle, which I thought was a really nice inclusion and a good usage of him.
And the reason they cast him so young is that they want to keep him around for a little bit, right? And teenagers around this age, they age pretty quickly. Sure. Right, we have little brothers. They look drastically different from when they did 2 years ago. Sure. So, yes, for Homecoming, he'll probably still look like this. But 2 years from now, when we get, like, the second Spider-Man movie, he'll look older. Mm-hmm. His voice is going to, and that's why they had to do it. Like, the problem with some of the Avengers, at least to me, and we had that one ridiculous scene where Tony was like looking young, like that was like my least favorite scene in the movie because it just looks it looks so weird. I don't like seeing it. Like I never
like the CG de-aging.
Yeah, I hate it. I hate it when stuff like that happens. But yeah, like a lot of these actors they're over 40 now.
Right,
like,
getting up there.
Yeah, like Paul Rudd is like 41. So
I thought it was interesting, and I mean, I know it's the character, but that they decided to like use him as like the most comic reliefy of all. You know what I mean?
Who, Paul Rudd?
Yeah, like the Ant-Man was gonna come in and just be like the total like dope of the group.
But they sort of established that that's how he is with Ant-Man. So man, Spider-Man was so cool. Did you stay for the after credit scenes? Mm-hmm. Okay, so you saw the full thing at the end with the little light and everything.
Yeah, what is that supposed to be?
Well, in the older comics and some of the newer ones too, Spider-Man has a utility belt, and he uses that light to sort of like instill like fear in his enemies. Like there's a crook or mugging.
Wait, the light?
Yeah.
Oh, like the sign, like the symbol.
Yeah, it's a little light coming out of his thing. What did you think that was?
I knew it was a light, but I didn't know like what's he gonna do, just shine it in their face?
No, he shines it, and people like see he's there and they get scared. Like, like think of it like a mobile bat signal.
I got you. Okay.
That's sort of how it is.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
No, I thought that was cool, and I really like that whole battle. I thought that battle was done super well. The fact that Ant-Man went giant was
that's
surprising.
The best battle in a comic book movie ever.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool that they got everybody involved in kind of like these very dynamic scenes. Like, sure, the thing at the end with Tony versus Steve is like a great battle and whatnot, but I like the fact that you would have all of a sudden like Scarlet Witch would stop doing her thing and then come over and help, and just a lot of like 3-way, 4-way fights and whatnot.
The best part of that was like to me when Natasha was fighting Hawkeye, and he tells her, "Hey, we're still friends, right?" Like because all these people they like each other. Like for the most part, I don't think anybody just like adamantly dislikes the person that they're fighting. So they're holding back, and yes, they realize that they got to do this fight because there is a very like big divide on what's happening. But I kind of wish that the big death that we see in the comics, I wish it happened. It doesn't happen here.
Which is what?
Cap. Well, in the Civil War. Right after the Civil War comics, Cap gets shot in his own comic, but it's in the aftermath of the Civil War stuff. Okay. I was really hoping that it happened just so that we could go.
But there's no way for Infinity War they're gonna not have Chris Evans.
Well, they would bring him back, and that's what the writer said. They said, us killing anybody, not just Cap, but the reason why no main hero died in this movie was because that would unify everybody. Like everybody would put their differences aside, come together, and say like, hey, let's stop. This has gone too far. And they said that they need them divided for when the big purple guy comes from outer space. So
right.
Like, and I know you don't know about this, but this basically created the Secret Avengers, which is a offshoot of the Avengers that they go on more like
covert missions.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, I thought the setup was really good as well. I mean, I didn't think any of it was boring or slow. I liked how they had like this globe-trotting adventure and kept it very fluid, and like the big title cards like Vienna and Berlin and wherever you were at, and it managed to fit a lot in without getting too overly complex or confusing. And they did a really nice job. I thought like with the whole UN thing, those scenes were still intriguing, and it was cool to see, how all the different characters reacted to it. And then I like Black Panther. I like the actor and that character as well. I thought he was done.
He nailed the I was worried about the accent. Like I didn't know what he was going to do. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
I thought it was really good. And even though like in the beginning they're like, hey, like, what do? You like cats? Like, what's going on? Like, he ended up being one of the strongest guys, which I thought was super cool. Again, both the two newcomers are like super, super fun, super strong. I was trying to think if there was any like moments that I didn't really like or that bored me, but I mean, I guess you could feel like, oh, some of the Bucky stuff, like that was a little bit extended. Like the fight scene. See, for me, like the superhero on superhero stuff is a lot better than the superhero on grunt stuff, because the grunts never fire their guns, which, I had to get past that early on.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, but like, okay, why is no one shooting Steve Rogers or Bucky when they're fighting through that entire apartment complex?
Dude, they are. Bucky is constantly deflecting bullets with his arm, and Cap has his shield. Like, they're shooting at them, but these guys, they have these things that are made out of vibranium that deflects all these things. Black Panther was shot at with like a helicopter minigun, and all the bullets just bounced off of him because his.
That's true.
Yeah, they get shot at.
I liked how it also opened with like a quick little like villain battle that was, I thought, for being like a minor villain, like the Black Mask fight was pretty good.
Yeah, you mean Crossbones?
Crossbones. Yeah. Thank you. Gosh, that guy. Crossbones.
Yeah, that was so quick.
I was testing you, Gabe.
That was so quick. Like I figured he'd be in the movie a little bit more. Like he was just in there for like what 5-10 minutes. Not 10 minutes.
It was a good setup, though, to establish sort of the entire conflict. And that's what I thought they also did well. I wasn't sure exactly how they would convey, like, hey, why are they fighting? And I thought they did a nice job of at least building in your mind, like, okay, this would make sense to be on either side of this, and where do I fall? I thought that, like, in the beginning, Captain America's side seemed very weak, and the case for it kind of escalated as the movie went on. I almost hope that, and I guess this would be my least favorite part of the movie, I almost hope that there was like a big fake out where in the trailers, you see the ultimate final battle, like culminative battle, I guess, with Steve Rogers, Bucky, and Iron Man. And I almost hope, like, was that not going to happen? Because we're getting close to the end of the movie and they're on the same side. I did think like the VHS tape being his like ultimate plan was a little bit, it almost reminded me of like the Martha moment in Batman vs Superman.
Not nearly as corny. And like the issue I had, I was like, okay, how the hell did these guys, like, this one single road in the middle of nowhere have like surveillance video back in the day? Like, stuff like that. Sure. To me, that's not as bad as the whole Martha thing, because the Martha thing, like, I could almost like see like some writer in a room somewhere thinking it's genius, and it's not. It's like really corny.
I just felt like, okay, Tony Stark just came to terms with the fact that like he doesn't want to fight, he doesn't want to do this, he doesn't want to do that, and then he's like freaked out again.
Well, yeah, because he didn't know that Winter Soldier had killed his parents.
He was very aware that the Winter Soldier was operating under like mind control, basically.
Yeah, and the thing is that's why at the end of the movie, like, he's not a clear mind. Tony Stark doesn't instantly want to kill Winter Soldier. Right, it's just because this is like the very first experience he's seeing with it, and he's literally like seeing this guy snap his mom's neck, snap his mom's neck. Like the rage just got over him, and I feel like after like the fight, like this isn't like a whole like, okay, next time I see Bucky, I'm shooting him on sight type. Like that's not how it is.
So it's like brothers getting pissed about something and then forgetting about it.
I don't know about forgetting about it. I think it'll still have ramifications, like, whatever their relationship would be, in future movies. Who knows? But it's definitely not a Iron Man has a kill list with Bucky's name on it type thing. That's not how it is.
Sure. Yeah. Sure. Other than that, though, like, okay, the fact that, it's building that, there's going to be these 5 Winter Soldiers, and then he ends up killing them all. Did you really get the motive for that?
No. Well, if anything, it was to mislead them. Right,
I guess, but why kill them? Why not leave them in case he needed them or something?
Didn't he say that like they were like mostly already dead anyways?
He said, "I killed them in their sleep. Don't worry."
I don't know,
because you can see a bullet hole in all of their heads.
Here's the one thing I did like about Baron Zemo. Like, he didn't have like grand aspirations to do anything. Like, his whole thing was, hey, the Avengers killed my family in his mind, so I need to break them up. I need to make it so that I'm going to destroy them the way they destroyed my family. So that was his motivation. He didn't need these other Winter Soldiers. Like, for what? Like, he wasn't trying to take over the world. He wasn't trying to do any, like, crazy stuff. Like, he wanted to break up the Avengers, and resurrecting these, like, crazy Winter Soldier people that may or may not kill him as soon as he brings them back to life. Like, there was no point.
Right. And for a change, I thought, like, the villain's plan was pretty good. I mean, like, yeah, maybe that part, with the 5 Winter Soldiers wasn't the greatest, but the fact that he was going to have them fight each other and it ended up working, I thought was like, it made sense to me. And I liked the fact that it actually panned out and they were on the brink of destruction. And I liked how vicious, Iron Man and Cap got at the end. I thought that was really a very intense moment. I was like, okay, did he just like take out his heart, or what's going on here when, Captain America smashes the shield through Iron Man's chest plate? Now, what is the significance of him leaving the shield behind?
Because Tony's father made that shield.
Right, I understand that, but how is he going to be anything?
Well, we have seen incarnations of Cap without the shield. Like we
Okay.
there's a at one point in the comic he's just called the Captain. He's not called Captain America. He wears a different suit.
He loses the America.
yeah. He actually wears like a black and red suit.
Okay.
And he can easily get another shield from T'Challa over there, because apparently they're all like buddy at the end of this. Winter Soldier.
Oh, and he has a ton of that.
Yeah,
vibranium
it's where Wakanda's where it comes from. So
okay,
he can easily just like make another one. He's like, fine, your dad made this one, but I'm gonna go get this other one and be all right.
Or is that going to be sort of the the Infinity War like friendship moment again? Like Tony calls him up and gives him his shield back and some cute little.
Well, someone has to die for this, and I have a feeling that like we know who's gonna die, just because of the nature of what the Infinity War is. Even though
in terms of like the superhero cast, you mean?
Well, no, as far as Thanos and the
okay.
Gauntlet and the Infinity Stones, and the fact that there's one in Vision, and that needs to come out of Vision at some point if Thanos is gonna get it.
Yeah,
so yeah. But I don't know how attached they are to Vision at this point, because I mean, Vision isn't a person per se. Like, but I was telling Lucy,
right.
I was telling Lucy like I liked Vision in this, but. And I like what they did with him and Scarlet Witch. And, you know, they get married in the comics at some point. So I like seeing that stuff, but I'm like, okay, when Thanos comes, he's gonna want that thing on his head, and once he takes that, he's like dead. So
I liked a lot of the more sensitive moments. I thought the scene with War Machine at the end, or I guess it was end, I guess. I like that. I thought that really rang true. I thought they did a nice job of kind of tying that together and making like the dramatic moments feel like a normal movie, as opposed to like, oh, it doesn't really hold a lot of weight.
Yeah.
And I almost wonder, and you can give me your opinion on this. I almost wonder if taking Thor and Hulk as sort of the most absurd of the heroes out of the equation,
they had to
like made it more believable, or more made the flow and sort of the entire movie just seem more, I guess, less ridiculous, less corny.
The thing,
at least for me,
the thing about Thor specifically is he's a god. He's not gonna sign something and let some government here like tell him what he can and can't do. Like, that's not what Thor's gonna do. Like, right. So if he,
it wouldn't have made any sense.
Yeah, I don't know how he would even entertain any of this. Like, okay, the world isn't in danger. There's not a whole bunch of people dying. Like, but what the hell? No, I got stuff to do back in Asgard. I'm not gonna hang out here for this.
Sure.
So, and Hulk, who knows where he is, but I think the consensus theory is that he's in space somewhere. Right.
Very good. So we're gonna get a Hulk in space, Planet Hulk movie.
Well, they're saying that Thor Ragnarok is gonna kind of take away elements from that, and Hulk will be in the Thor movie. That's the theory.
That's the thought.
Yeah. Okay. That's what everybody's thinking. But yeah, these two guys wouldn't have made sense. Like, who's gonna fight Bruce Banner? Like, unless there's another Iron Hulk.
I did think it was a little weird that the two black dudes were like beating each other up for a long time. I was like, what? Why they have to pair these guys off together?
They weren't.
Well, just in the fact that, like, I guess they had to, just from a standpoint of, like, okay, Falcon's flying, War Machine's flying.
I thought you were talking about Black Panther. I was like, Black Panther wasn't fighting Falcon in any way.
No. I thought, like, okay, if I was Tony Stark, and not that I am, but if I was...
Close.
Where he went wrong was the imprisonment of, what's-her-face? Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
That was where that's where everyone then got freaked out. Had he not done that, I think he could have pulled off his little plan.
And here, let's speak about this.
Yeah.
Because I told you, after I saw the movie, I said, idealistically, I don't know how anyone could be Team Iron Man. Like, yes, the heroes themselves are cooler. Iron Man is very cool. I understand that. Mm-hmm. Right? Their side of heroes, they have a nice roster. Cool. But just idealistically, how could you get behind that? Like, the fact that the UN is gonna tell you what you can and can't do. Like, no. Like, we've seen that governments can be corrupt. Like, Hydra infiltrated SHIELD, and we saw all that happen. Like, why trust any form of government?
Well, I think the misunderstanding there was that Iron Man wasn't really, as soon as he became aware of the situation at hand, then he was willing to sort of break the agreement and kind of go in. But previous to that, I felt like he was totally valid in what he was saying.
All right, so if that's all it took for him to break the agreement, why are you so adamant about signing this thing in the first place? If all it takes
why didn't Captain America try to make it more clear quicker what was going on?
Cap said the whole time, he's like, hey, like, the people that are best fit to control us is us.
No, I know, but like the whole thing about, okay, hey, there's something more at play here. Why didn't he reveal the information quicker. And like as soon as he suspected it in the interrogation area, why didn't he say something then?
Well, did you not see them run out to try to go fix this? Because they see that this person that's interrogating him, they see something's wrong. So what happens is they instantly run away. You see T'Challa looking at his phone. He looks over his shoulder and he sees like, okay, something's about to happen. You see these guys running after him. So they instantly just book it, because the thing is, they've talked many times. Like this conflict has been kind of boiling ever since Age of Ultron. The whole reason Ultron was created was because Tony thought that, there should be something that can handle things. It doesn't always have to be us. You know what I mean?
Right.
That was the whole creation of Ultron.
Right.
So they've talked about this plenty. They've had many disagreements about this.
Okay, so this isn't like just like the first.
Yeah, I mean, they had that little roundtable meeting where the dude's showing them, all these things that happened, and they tell them, turn it off. We get it. Like everybody's feeling bad about it, but what are you supposed to do?
Yeah, I mean, I think all in all, just across the board, there wasn't really like a failed place. And for me, like, I know you still love Winter Soldier, but where that movie got really like kitschy and I felt dull, I felt like this movie did a much better job of making all of the heroes seem like people as well as superheroes. And maybe it was just the nature of the storyline and whatnot, but I felt like I could connect with Captain America for the first time, as opposed to him just being like, Mr. Stars and Stripes, and he's going to go save the day. Whereas in Winter Soldier, it still has sort of that like goofy,
I don't know.
You know how I feel about the man in the computer, which is just the thing. But it's like at that point he's like, oh God, I gotta go stop Hydra and all this stuff. As opposed to here, it's like it was the most grounded I've ever seen them depict. The Avengers.
The one thing I wanted to, and I told you this. I said you got to explain to me what you have against Bucky, because here's the thing that you maybe don't get, right?
Okay.
This is a 100+ year friendship, right? They've known each other since way back in the day.
Well, not really 100 years, because for a good chunk
they were frozen. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But like, this is a old-fashioned friendship. Those were different times. Bucky and Cap, they weren't born in the 70s or 80s or whatever time the rest of these characters were born in. Not 80s. No one was born in the 80s in these movies except Tom Holland.
Sure.
But they come from a long time ago where things were different. Friendship meant something different than it does now.
Okay.
Right? And if you remember to the original Captain America, the first Avenger, Bucky always stood up for Cap. Steve was a scrawny kid. He was beat up on, and Bucky was always there to help him out. And Cap never forgets that. Like, he was there for him when he couldn't do anything. And now he sees everybody coming at Bucky for something that Steve knows, like, Bucky didn't really have any control over. Right?
Right.
So, how would you feel if this was somebody that you've known for years and years and years, and now everybody's like, coming against him for something that he didn't really do, like, willingly?
Right, which I totally understand. I guess more from the standpoint of like the last two movies, Winter Soldier and this one, were basically the crux of it was Bucky.
Not this one. See, and that was another.
For the most part, I mean, that
was another misconception that you had. Like, I remember you like talking prior to release, you saying like, why would they like everybody be fighting over Bucky? And I've told you like they're not fighting over Bucky. Like the whole Civil War thing has nothing to do with Bucky.
Well, it does, because Iron Man, they want to bring Bucky in. They don't want to bring Cap in initially.
Well, no, because Bucky's set up.
If Captain America would just let Bucky come in, then
no. The whole accord,
the
whole accord is still happening. They still want these heroes to sign this stupid thing that says, "Hey, stop doing these things like without the government's consent." Bucky has nothing to do with that. Bucky wasn't in Age of Ultron.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm just saying that when push comes to shove, the whole reason for Captain America basically standing up to these guys is to protect Bucky.
No, I think if Bucky wasn't existing, I think Cap would.
Why then? Why didn't Captain America just let Bucky get taken by the police and?
Well, because it's his friend. I think it's two separate things. It's still his friend. He's not gonna just let him.
Well, at the end of the day, either way, he goes back into the fish tank. So all of this is.
See, the exciting part about that is he might be in the Black Panther movie. That'd be really cool. I would love it.
Why? Oh, just because he's in the.
Yeah, he's in Wakanda. So. Yeah.
Okay. They somehow their magic powers figure out how to solve his brain. I mean, I get why he did it. I just felt like it was. I don't like those kind of plot lines where at the end it feels like all of that's for nothing. Like Captain America is risking his life and a ton of things to save this guy, and yet he doesn't get a normal life. They don't get to be friends. He's going to cryosleep.
For now.
Which for now. Until they can figure it out. Which they have in the last
Bucky will. I think
years.
Bucky will be a major player going forward. So I'm sorry you don't like him.
I really and something just about his hairstyle also just. I know that's a weak thing to get upset about. Something about his hair just it bothers me. Yeah. But I don't know. Like, is it still a popcorn movie? Absolutely. But for me, it was the most enjoyable. It's not like the most intelligent movie. It doesn't have like the most surprising twist, but
not like that Batman versus Superman. No. So intelligent that we don't need a plot.
It was by far, for me, the most engaging and enjoyable superhero movie. And I came out of it like excited and ready for whatever they do next. Which obviously we know what they're doing next, but it just
sucks that it's going to take so long. Because we're not.
Well, it's next year.
What?
Infinity War.
Is it?
Yeah, 2017.
Okay, but it's late 2017, isn't it? Can you look up the date real quick?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, you do that. But I just hate that it takes so damn long for us to see these characters again, because we'll see Spider-Man next year in his own movie, but and we'll see Tony Stark in it, I guess. But
oh gosh, you're right. Part 1 is May 2018.
Yeah, no, it's not next year. Because I know next year we're getting Spider-Man. I know we're getting Thor Ragnarok. I think that's the 2, and Black Panther, the 3. So I think that's what we get next year.
Yeah, so this year you got Doctor Strange.
That's November.
And then next year is Guardians 2.
Yep.
Spider-Man and Thor Ragnarok.
And then Black Panther's early 2018.
2018. Yeah. And then Avengers is May 2018. And then Ant-Man is late 2018.
Yeah.
Captain Marvel is 2019.
Yeah,
and
so see,
Part 2 is
the thing that sucks is we might not see Cap until 2018. Like, I don't know what movie he could pop up in. Like, where can we check in on the Secret Avengers other than
you're not gonna?
Yeah, so stuff like that.
Which in a way, though, I think sometimes absence.
Yeah, but and they have cool things with after credit scenes where we'll check.
I was a little let down by this after credit.
Which one? The Black Panther one?
Both of them were more just like, okay, like to wrap things up rather than like, oh my god, there wasn't like that like holy crap.
It lets us know that this is coming.
Well, we knew they were making Spider-Man, and we knew they were making Black Panther.
Yeah, but it's still cool to see. The Spider-Man one was so perfect, right? He's like, oh, Hot Aunt May, I'm going to call her that. Hot Aunt May asks him, like, hey, who'd you get in a fight with? Oh, some guy from Brooklyn. Like, that's so cool.
Yeah, and I don't understand why that was like a thing for both Tony Stark and like people. She was like such a goofball-looking aunt, but all right.
Man.
I'm looking at this list and like, what's your most excited then going? I mean, until Avengers, like you were talking about.
Probably Spider-Man. Spider-Man. Yeah.
Who do you think?
Spider-Man and Black Panther.
Villain?
For Spider-Man, they're saying maybe Vulture. So that's what they're saying. So I don't know.
I guess if they do him up well.
Yeah. And Chadwick Boseman did such a good job as Black Panther. So
yeah, that was really good.
I'm excited. I'm excited for whatever that becomes too.
Yeah, I think Black Panther will be cool. I mean, obviously we've got X-Men, Doctor Strange this year, Guardians. They're apparently redoing Tower of Terror at Disney World. They're tearing it out from its like Tower of Terror theme and making it a Guardians of the Galaxy ride for next.
Doesn't surprise me. Guardians makes so much money.
Yeah, I guess you're gonna drop in the Guardians elevator or some space.
Yeah, I mean it's exciting. Not to get like, I think we're already running a little long, but not to get into this whole thing, but they're walking a very fine line right now because superhero fatigue is a thing, and I feel like I'm suffering from it a little. I feel like we get too many of these. Like, I think we get them too often. I feel like we get too many of them a year. Just this year alone, we're getting 6. I think we got Deadpool, Batman vs Superman,
Suicide Squad.
Doctor Strange, Suicide Squad, and I have to be missing one more. So that's fine, but I feel like there's going to be 6 total.
Did you say X-Men?
I don't know.
Batman, Suicide Squad, X-Men. Those are the non-Marvel. And then Strange, Civil War, Deadpool. Yeah, that's your 6.
Yeah. So we don't need 6 a year. But the problem is, like, some of them are still so good. Deadpool is so good. Batman vs Superman wasn't. I wish they would have taken their time with that.
For me, like, I like this infinitely more than Deadpool.
Yeah, that's fine. That's understandable. I feel like I like this better than Deadpool too, but a lot of people really really love Deadpool. Yeah. So
well, I'm glad that we both liked it. Finally, we come to agreement on a superhero movie. It may be our favorite Marvel movie by the time you see it 5 times.
Yeah. It's not like that crappy Age of Ultron. Age of Ultron.
Yeah,
really
and that was nice too. Like for my family, like both Noah and my mom hated Age of Ultron, and they really liked this one. So that was like a
because they're smart people.
Surprise.
Smart people hate Age of Ultron.
It wasn't very good. But this
except that they like Batman vs Superman, so I don't know how smart they could be.
We'll have to see how Suicide Squad does, and it'll be interesting. Is that.
Well, X-Men is in what, like 18 days now. So.
I feel like the X-Men movies are just of a lower.
Those are Lucy's favorite.
I like the first one, First Class, but the most recent one I wasn't a big fan of. But
yeah,
I think it again is the case of like, okay, Apocalypse is so unbelievable that why doesn't he just kill everyone? Whereas in this case,
I still think we get too many of these, man.
that just helped keep it grounded for me, and that like, okay, there's a reason they don't want to kill each other. So they're not taking advantage of the opportunities to like cut off Iron Man's head with your shield. I like that.
Yeah.
I also think we need to get one of those Bucky arms for just life.
That you get the right one, I get the left one. We just go around E3 shaking everybody's hands.
Real hard handshakes. All right, we'll shake your hand and get out of here. Let us know what you thought of the movie in the comments down below. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and we'll do this again at some point.
You Supercast fans, you got a little taste of what it was. There we go.
It's basically a podcast at this length. So you win. You beat us. You defeated our plans to keep it from you. And yeah, I'm glad that I liked it. I was a little nervous I would go in and hate it and come out and have to have this like horrible.
I almost felt like you would say you hated it even though you
I really did like it.
Sometimes I feel like you like being a contrarian.
Yeah, like occasionally, but with the Marvel stuff, I honestly have not liked a lot of them. But this one I did really enjoy, and it was good to see the characters and feel like I could like all the characters, even Captain America, which is like a humongous change of pace for me, because normally I hate him. So the fact that I could like him says something about the movie. I like you guys a lot. So does Gabe. So we will say good night until next time, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Drink some hot chocolate. Go check out Gabe's comparison between Batman and Civil War. And until next time.
Yeah, check that out.
See you all later.
Goodbye.
One more quick reminder, if you guys enjoy the gameplay and you want to get in on the Civil War Contest of Champions action for yourself, click the sponsor link in the description below, download the game, get in on it, pick your team, and let's go to battle. Thanks so much, guys, for watching. I love you. Thanks for all your support today, tomorrow, and forever. Until next time, though, once again, drink some hot chocolate, and once again, we will see you all later.